Welcome everybody, welcome back to Homestead Heart. And this evening, you all, we have an amazing topic to share with you all.
Yes, we do, y'all.
Now you may remember, you're probably going to remember us talking about this back about a year and a half or so ago when we did the 7 days of giveaways, where we wanted to really try to come up with a way to help people who wanted to start their own homestead to be able to do that, right? And we have come up with so many different ideas along the way, but this is one that we can share with you now, and this is something that you might be able to jump on right away.
Yes, and this is a very hot topic. I think you're gonna like it. What we really want everybody to do that we know that can do is come together and start a homestead.
Come together.
Come together, start a homestead with like-minded people.
Look, y'all,
who want to do the same thing.
You got to be like-minded. You have to have that unity mindset, right? That all for one, one for all kind of a mindset. If you're going to do something like this with other people, because to an extent, you're going to be depending upon one another, right?
Yes.
So you're going to want to come together with people that are like-minded, people that are going to be willing to work, not people that just talk, because we have a lot of people that give that lip service, and then when it's time to do the actual work, they was all talk, right? And they don't show up to the work party.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that, you know, you're going to be dealing with people that have like minds but are willing to work. And it's okay if they're new.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and one idea that I have that you can really find out if they really have the energy, have them to come over and say, hey, we're gonna do a small garden in somebody's backyard, and then see what kind of energy they have.
Yeah, just see how you work, see if you all are willing to work together, see how well that would go. Because some people, although they may never have had a homestead before, they could be totally new to it, but they still have that, I want to do this, you know, energy, like Mr. H was saying, and that mindset that I want to do this, you know, and they're serious about it. And maybe start working together now on a small scale, like Mr. H said. Maybe come together in one of your backyards and say, hey, let's see if we can grow something together. Let's see how we can, you know, right now start growing a garden. But what if they're already growing their own stuff?
Yes, see, and that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And then what if you bring in new people that haven't done it before, that have that energy and that
But that's
drive?
fine. That's what we just got through saying. That would be just fine. If a person is new, that's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
As long as you have the willingness and the desire to get up and go to work, then I don't see any reason why a person who's new to homesteading would not be able to be included in something like that, right? And another thing is that, like, putting your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
Because to tell you the truth, if you're going to come together to buy land, you're not just thinking about people who are just like-minded, but you're thinking about, you're going to be bringing your dollars to the table, you know, because you're going to have to make a decision, you know, how much land do we want? If it's going to be 5 people, how much land does each person feel that they need to have a successful homestead? And let's just say if each person decides that they need 5 acres, well, that's 25 acres you're going to need for 5 people. Well, how much are you willing to spend? And then what kind of land are you looking for? Are you looking for something that's cleared? Something you're going to have to go in and clear on your own? What are you going to be looking for, right? Those things are going to be very important.
Yes. And also, you know, like cleared land, do you want trees to where, you know, you want a little shade?
Yeah.
You know, do you want an open field for cows?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What kind of livestock are you going to have? Are you going to, you know, is everybody going to have like their own individual homesteads, which would be fine. Would be fine, because sometimes people could just simply come together to just simply purchase the land. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything together.
Yeah.
But when it comes to working the land, though, getting the land ready to receive homes, that's going to take an effort on everybody's part. And that's just not something that you can throw one or two people in and let them handle it, and then you don't do nothing. That's not how that can work. You know, everybody's going to have to get in there and get their hands dirty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, like what if they want to just buy 5 acres and throw those small bungalows, a little small tiny house
Oh, yeah.
on the homestead to get their feet wet,
Yeah.
you know, and then start their gardening skills,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
chicken, you know, start off small.
Yeah.
And they still can have their home, their main home, still intact.
Yeah.
And then they can kind of like, you know, start it from that standpoint.
That's true. And another thing that I would offer is that making sure that your values are the same. Making sure that your values are the same.
That's a great point.
Because, you know, if you are going to be a person raising children and you want to raise children according to maybe your religious beliefs, right? Then how will it impact you to have somebody that you're homesteading with that doesn't believe like you believe, right? So maybe that's something that you also need to consider if that's going to be a major factor with you choosing the people that you're going to want to share land with, because you all are going to be on the same land.
Yes.
Right? You may be developing it into a community, correct? So if you're going to be developing it into a small community of 5 families, 10 families, 20 families, 30 families, it doesn't matter. The number can be whatever you want it to be in order for everyone to come together to purchase the land. However, you have to decide like what values are important to me. You know, it's just like if you lived in a city and you had a home and you were looking for a roommate. When you interview these people that are going to move into your house, you're going to interview them because you want to see what their character is like. You're going to interview them because you're going to be asking some questions. You want to know about this person to see if they would be a good fit for you, because it's somebody that you're going to be sharing space with, right? So it's the same when buying land. You want to make sure that you have these conversations with one another to make sure that everybody's going to be a good fit to live together.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be somebody that you've been knowing for years.
It could. That's true.
That probably would work best.
Well, it would work best, but if you're trying to buy like a lot of land, then maybe, because you're gonna have to be willing to like divide your pennies. If the thing, if all you got is 10 grand saved up to buy land, and that's not enough, and you come across the land that's $100,000, well, now you might be looking for other people that have 10 grand, right? You might be looking for 10 other people with 10 grand so that you all can come together and pay cash for this $100,000 piece of property, right? That you all can then divide, come to an agreement. Yep, there will be contracts and lawyers involved because you want things to be done fair and just, right? So, you do want to have things in writing, all right? Yeah. And that just keeps down confusion. So you all, that's just something to consider. These are like, it might be like the tough topics, but you got to talk about them. Mm-hmm. You can't just move on. What if you are, let's just say you have a family that's very quiet and laid back, and then you have other families that are really rowdy,
listening to loud music all
times and night long, right?
Over the whole weekend.
You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you have these conversations to make sure that the people that you decide to come together with, that everybody is a good fit, you all.
Yeah.
That's going to be very, very important. And then, you know, what do you want to do with the land?
Yeah.
It's this bug in here. It's okay, Mr. H. Me and these bugs, y'all, I'm telling y'all. And that's another thing that I'm going to do another video on, because people will say all the time, Mrs. H, I'm afraid of bugs. I cannot be out there dealing with bugs, growing food. I am afraid of bugs, right? I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Mrs. H hates bugs. All right? I hate them. Y'all see me. I be ducking and dodging these things, you know? But it's more like I have to grow food. And the food is more important to me than the bugs. So I hate bugs, and Mr. H will tell you that. I hate absolutely.
Yeah, she hate them with a passion. She hates
these
bugs.
Bugs, right? And he will tell you, we will tear up a house trying to find a bug.
Yeah,
he got to go.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you, look, this man will say, I can spot a bug a mile away. I don't care where it is.
But we're not going to let a bug stop us from growing food.
No, we are
See,
not.
and the people that you want to, you know, like, unite with, buying land, it's got to be somebody you can get along with.
It's got to be y'all.
You know.
It's got to be.
Because you don't want nobody that want to pick an argument over the smallest thing.
Exactly. None of that.
You want somebody that love peace.
That's what?
Yes, somebody that love peace.
That's a very good. That's why I said y'all got to have these conversations. It's like interviewing one another for a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you are a person who loves, you know, to be peace, you don't like confusion. And like Mr. H said, sometimes you have people that thrive on confusion.
Yeah.
You know, and so you really have to, and then sometimes you have people that, you know, listen, I'm just going to be straight and tell you. Sometimes you got people that like to bully their way around things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you have people that want to tell you what to do with your part of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe make you feel bad if you don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay? So you got to keep in mind, look, your personalities got to come together as well. You don't need people like that.
And then another
thing, when you're trying to be successful.
You don't want people that are lazy. You can tell, like, if somebody don't want to come and help harvest food that you have grown, but they want you to come and give it to them. If you don't want to come,
I want a homestead.
You don't want to come and harvest.
Right.
Okay. You don't want to come and harvest.
Okay.
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 If you don't want to come around and harvest food, but you want to eat, I mean that's not going. That's a
problem.
That's not going to work.
That's a problem. See, it's got to be people who want to work the land, not somebody who just want to live on the land and then watch you work and then want to come when it's time now to start getting the food and putting the food away. Now they want what you have worked so hard for. No, look, it is so important, you all. Like minds have got to come together.
Yes.
Like minds, perhaps, you know, they use the term kindred spirits, you know. You may not necessarily be related. And that's fine if you're not related, you know. You could just be sisters and brothers in the same church, right? Whatever the case may be, you could just be in the same organization.
Could be co-workers.
Maybe you go to college together and everybody's is studying agriculture.
Yeah.
You know, it could be co-workers, like Mr. H said.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to make sure that your spirits can match one another and that you work well together. That's what it's going to all boil down to, because when you're working to clear land, you're coming together to start a homestead together. Sometimes, you know, you may have to help one another out, and it's good to have people that's going to be willing to come when you call and be like, hey, I need some help over here with so and so. Sure, no problem. You know, we will make this happen. We'll work together to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, so kindred spirits and like minds are going to be very important with this, you all.
Yeah.
You know, and for some people, it's best. It's absolutely best. You know, if you are in a church, a mosque, a temple, wherever you worship, if you have some an organization or maybe a little group of people that often come together to talk about agriculture, to talk about self-sustainability, you know, that would be another good place to start.
Yes, it would be. It would be a great place to start, and like, you know, everybody have the same vision. You can see yourself and you really want this.
Yes.
Because every day, I'm telling you, we don't feel like getting up doing what we're doing every day, 365 days a year. You're not going to feel like it.
Every day.
But once you get started,
yeah,
you know, you're going to have a couple of bad days, but
yeah,
you're not just going to have a whole bad week,
year,
month, where you don't want to get out there and say, hey, I got to try
right,
to do something,
right,
you know, and it's going to happen.
Well, what about if we don't have all of the fancy equipment?
You still got your hands.
You got your hands.
You still got a Home Depot where you can go get a shovel or anything you need to do.
I'm going to tell y'all something. When we first got to our homestead, we did not have a bunch of fancy tools or nothing. We had, Mr. H bought some machetes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we went through, y'all, and we cleared fields.
Machetes,
with those machetes.
Sling.
And with that sling blade.
We had an old sling
sling blade.
Yeah.
And we went through and we cleared fields by hand. And a lot of you watched us do that. I'm not just making this up.
Mm-hmm.
It's videos that we have videos on our channel that can bear witness to what I am saying. We did a lot of things by hand, you all. We worked so hard. And it was he and I.
Yeah.
So just imagine what it would be if you had 10 people
Yeah.
that were really willing to get in and work. If you had 20 people that was willing to get in and work, and then you got to make
you can do great things with 20 people.
Yeah.
Even with 10.
Even with 10. Mm-hmm.
And just imagine the satisfaction of having real organic food that you were responsible for.
Right.
That you can eat.
Right.
You know, because now they doing so much stuff with food, we got to keep up with it. We got to keep up with it, and we gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about that on survival mode.
On survival mode,
Yeah.
that's what we talk about. What's really going on with what you put in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll come back and you'll see Homestead Heart, and you see why we really want to grow our own food.
That's right. That's
you
right.
know, we really want to grow what we know what we growing.
Mm-hmm.
So the satisfaction would be if y'all was to pool y'all resources.
Yep.
Come together. It can be a school teacher. It can be a janitor.
Yep.
It can be somebody with that energy.
UNITY is
And
what you need.
Somebody with knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He can sit back.
Yeah.
He can have the knowledge, but he don't really have that physical fitness that the janitor may have.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna need everybody. Just because you don't have somebody that don't have experience, they got the physical will to get out there and make it happen.
Yeah. And it's good to have people that know how to do things too.
Yeah.
You know, it's good if you have somebody that knows how to build chicken coops and things like. It's good if you have somebody that's handy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, we were not.
Yeah.
And we built our chicken house.
Yeah.
We were not chicken coop builder-uppers, okay? We just decided that we wanted to build a really big chicken house. And we did some research. And we did it.
Yeah.
And we got videos on that too. Y'all saw us building that chicken house out there.
Yeah.
It was so big and nice. Some people thought it was a cabin. And it was not a cabin. It was a chicken house. And we was like, wow, that's really big.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, we did all of that with me working 60 hours a week.
Yes.
And
yes.
On the weekend, whatever time we had, because me and Mrs. H had that vision, like, we really want to be independent and do our own thing
That's right.
on our own land.
Yeah.
And it was just me and her.
Right.
And I'm so proud to see how hard I worked and how hard she worked and what we accomplished.
Yeah.
You know,
and originally we did want to start our homestead with others.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
It was our hope that we could have started maybe with maybe 3 or 4 other families and maybe found a much larger piece of land where we could have come together to do that. But we just couldn't at that time. We couldn't really find anybody that was willing to really do that and really willing to work hard. And so that's why we ended up just deciding, you know what? We can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gonna do
That's
this.
what we did. Yeah. Because we was looking at the money like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
How are we going to make this happen?
How we gonna make it happen? But we did, by the grace of God. He blessed us with this property here.
Yes,
and we got it at such a reasonable price. And so it still worked out perfect for us. It would have been nice if we could have had 4 other families to build with, right? To have that community with, right? It would have been nice. But it didn't work out that way. But that's okay. It can work out that way for you, And so it may help to start, like, again, just searching within your own community, within your family, within your religious community. Start looking to see who's thinking like you.
Yeah. And then I guess when everybody come together to get this property, they can section it off.
Yeah.
And just go from there, have an understanding. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that.
Yep.
Okay, you got people with loud music. Y'all can be in the back.
Well, everybody probably going to play some loud music from time to time, because I know we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you got those extreme partiers.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking, like, if people are going to really be moving to, the land, it probably won't be a whole lot of time for extreme anything other than getting that farm up and going, right?
That farm up
That's
and going.
going to have to be the main priority. You're going to have to make that your number one priority, because although it's not easy starting a homestead, it's doable. But you have to know and come to the realization right away, this is very hard work.
Yes, it is.
Okay? It's much easier to go to a 9 to 5
and
get off and go home, and you ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got to think about that job no more. When you come home, you can chill, watch TV, whatever you want to do. But when you are starting a homestead, this is not a 9 to 5. This is whatever it takes when it calls for it.
It's a 24/7.
Right? Because if somebody calls and says, hey, your goats are out, well, if that's at 11 o'clock at night, well, we got to get up and go get our goats.
Yeah, you got to go chase them down.
Right. You got to, or if you hear some commotion going on at your chicken house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Which you will, because there's a lot of foxes.
There's going to be a lot of predators,
Yeah.
You're going to have to get up and go and check on them, right? So this is not a 9 to 5. This is a whenever duty calls type of a job, okay? And so, but it's still so rewarding. It's very hard work, but it's very, 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 I cannot stress it enough, very rewarding.
Yes.
When you can prepare the land, and all of that's your hard work. You can prepare the land. You can make the land something that might not be good land at all. With a little hard work, you can make that land do for you what you need it to do. You can make it grow you some delicious and beautiful crops. You can make it do that. But it's going to take some hard work.
Yeah. And then once you get to doing this type of work, it's like it's natural.
Yeah.
It may be hard work from the beginning, but you get used to the hard work.
Yeah.
And then you'll get used to, like, making the land what you want it to be by adding compost and adding different
Yeah.
types of sand
Mm-hmm.
and dirt and
Chicken manure.
whatever you need.
Yeah, chicken manure. You know, that's probably one of the easiest things that you can start with on a homestead is a small flock of chickens, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can, I mean, listen, you can do it, you all. The hardest part of all of it is going to be finding the people to do this with.
Yeah.
That might be the most difficult part, because once you actually get the land, then the work will begin. But that's okay, because you got goals that you're working toward. And I'm telling you, what about housing? You know, Mr. H was talking about tiny houses, but what if you got a larger family? You could think about manufactured homes. You can think about modular homes. You can think about having site-built homes, right? You could think about having the, what they call those, barn dominiums, where they take a barn and turn it into a house, you know? You have different options. And when it comes to how you're going to heat your house, you can choose between propane, or you can choose wood stoves. And even if you're going to be cooking, you can choose propane or wood cook stoves, and having your wells dug, and having solar panels even installed if you don't want to be connected to the grid at all, right? These are just different things that you have to think about. But the journey will only begin when you make the decision to get started.
Yeah, and another rewarding part is independence and freedom.
Yes.
You know, just waking up and you don't be crammed up with neighbors like you do in the big city or the city.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you just feel the
Because
freedom.
you got the space, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the space.
You got the space, you know, to kind of, you know, branch out. And if you're going to be starting this with family, friends, or community members, you know, and if you decide that, you know, hey, let's find 100 acres, and we'll divide it up based upon the number of people that we have, or how many acres. Everybody might not want 5 acres. You might have somebody that only wants a 1 acre plot out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You'll just have to be dividing up what that's going to cost by the acre, and then different people can decide how many acres they want, because they may have more money to put in than you, and so they may end up getting more acreage than you, right? But that's just, you know, all of those things are just the different topics of discussion for people who are going to be coming together to make a homestead, and even deciding, like, what happens if somebody wants to leave the homestead? What do? You know, they just going to sell it to anybody? No. That's something else you have to have drawn up in the contract, you know. You have to be able to decide whether you want to be able to choose and interview whoever's going to buy that. It just can't go to anybody, because, again, it's got to be like-minded people if everybody's going to be living amongst each other.
Whole group
right?
of people united.
Yeah, you don't want nobody just moving in a couple of acres from you and they not right. Yeah. You know, you need to have that discussion, and once that discussion is had and agreed upon, it needs to be put in writing.
Yeah.
What happens when somebody decides that, hey, this is not the life I really want anymore. I think I want to sell this, my part.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to decide, well, you just can't sell it for, I mean, we would have the right to buy it first. You know?
Because you don't know who you're selling it to.
Exactly.
Could be a conflict of interest.
It certainly could be.
That's why everybody could just meet up together and know each other, you know, and have these small projects. This is what we doing. Every month we're going to do a raised bed.
Well,
whatever the project would be.
Yeah, because you never know if people might already be doing that in their backyard. Because the goal is going to be to have somebody that's already working.
Okay.
Somebody that's already like...
But what if it's a group of beginners?
And if it's a group of beginners, then I guess...
They can get their feet wet together is what I'm saying. That's the reason why I say...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Get your feet wet together.
Just starting out, a group of beginners.
Yeah.
Y'all meet up once a month, and then y'all do small projects that's going to get y'all motivated. And then once you get motivated, then you're going to start growing, getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Your dreams going to get bigger. Your vision's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start looking at YouTube videos together.
I was just going to say, like, if you're a beginner, you make sure you're doing some research.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing some homework. Make sure you're doing some practicing before you get started. You know?
That's the point.
That's what Mr. H was saying.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you're getting some practice in.
Get your practice in.
You know, you don't move to 20 acres. And it's going to be a lot different working a larger amount of land than if you was just doing a little patio garden, right? It's going to be a lot bigger. So make sure you just do some research.
Yeah, because you know those beginners got that beginning energy where
That's true.
They'll move out now.
That's true. You know, you just don't want to get discouraged. You know, you never want somebody to get overwhelmed and then feel like it's something that is unattainable. So make sure you prepare your mind for the amount of work that it's going to take to start a homestead on a larger scale. If you're going to be dealing with acreage, you make sure you start, you know, at least getting your mind prepared, right? Because once you get your mind ready, the body's going to follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just get your mind prepared and know that it's going to take some work. Is going to take lots of study, and y'all, the hours of study is endless. You never stop studying, you never stop learning, just like we don't.
Yeah.
You know, we're still learning a lot.
Yeah. And see, we can learn from other homesteaders, you know,
Absolutely.
other YouTubers that's on YouTube, you know, and they growing this, they growing that. So that's what we still do.
Yeah.
We still study, we still
Yeah.
work hard, you know, we still have that energy to be able to, you know, like start new projects and just keep doing what we do.
Yeah, and we learn from one another. You know, we learn from one another. Sometimes we watch other people, other homesteaders, and they're doing something, and we like, hey, that's a good idea. I never thought about that, you know. And even for us in our food forest, you know, we had been planning on putting grapes in our food forest and putting arbors in, but when I was watching someone else, I think it was a orchard for a winery, I think it was. But the way they had their grapes set up, of course, they were just in a straight line with poles and the strong cable or wire. And I told Mr. H, I mean, I think I like that better. Yeah. You know, because that way we don't have to be trying to reach above to harvest grapes. We can do it. Yeah, straight down the line. Like a heavy duty cable with some cat claws that you can drill into the wooden post, right? And so, you know, we were like, yeah, that'll work better. But see, that's an idea that we got from just learning from somebody else, you know, and seeing how they're doing it. And it's very successful. It's working, right? And not to mention, it'll be a whole lot less expensive than trying to build arbors for all of the grapes that we want.
Yeah. And one thing I can say about Mrs. H, she's a fun co-worker on the farm. You know,
Thanks,
for somebody to be a co-worker and a wife on the farm, I mean, what we do, we plan it out before we move out. Yes. And then so she'll say, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you do that, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you do that. So we throw our ideas, you know, around, and then it amazes me how we do projects
and we get things done.
We get them done.
We do.
When we work together, we can get something done that 6 people can't get done.
True. We pay for it later.
Yeah, we do. We pay for it because Mrs. H, she motivate me, and I be moving.
Yeah, we pay for it later because I be like, my arm.
But the next day, oh boy, I can feel it.
Oh,
I can
my
feel
leg
it.
hurt.
But at the end of the day, between me and her, we make it happen. I just really love it. I love that teamwork we have.
Yes. Yes, indeed. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important.
Yeah.
You know, to have like minds working together, right? There are no bosses on the homestead. You know, on the homestead, it's just that we come together and we decide what has to happen, and we prioritize, you know, what's most important that we get done, and we talk about it and we agree. And once we agree on what's most important, that's where we start at. Yeah. You know, And I think working with, my husband, Mr. H, working with him, it is absolutely amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's so much fun. It's very enjoyable. He makes it fun. We just have a good time together.
Yeah.
Sometimes he could be listening to his music with his ear thing
Yeah.
in, and I'd be calling him, and I'd be like, "Babe,
Yeah.
babe." What
Yeah.
I say? What I say?
I'll be like, I can hear you, and
No, he can't hear me, and I'm like, "You can't even hear me."
She be going off on me, and then
Like,
I pull my boom box out. I got a little portable boom box I have out there, and I be partying while we be working.
Sure do. He be having a
Yeah.
whole party.
Yeah, I do.
Only thing be missing is the chips and dip.
Yeah. I be listening to that old school hip hop.
And Funkadelic. Who is the group? Who is it?
Well, I guess you could say house music, like
Oh, house music.
that's what they call it.
That's what they call it.
Grandmaster Flash, Series 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kumo D.
Get funky.
Yeah. Yeah. Planet Rock, all that. They're good.
That old school music.
Clean.
I get it, baby.
They're good, clean.
It's clean. It really is. It's good clean.
And it lifts your spirit. It
It does.
don't be all about, negative. It's
Right.
all positive.
Right.
And see, that lifts me up.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
me back to the 80s when things was really good, and the 90s when,
Simple. Mm-hmm.
things was a lot more better,
That's true.
But that's my thing though.
That's your thing.
When we working out there.
Yeah.
So
I ain't got nothing to say about that. Nothing at all. But y'all, that is and that's kind of what we're talking about, like
yeah.
the people that you're going to be working with.
Yeah.
These are people that you want to be able to get along with, have a good time with,
Mm-hmm.
These are going to be your co-workers
Yes.
on the farm. And so it's good to be able to work with people that will, like, just kind of, your spirits kind of go together a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you're comfortable with each other, and nobody minds working hard,
Yeah.
And so that's going to be very important. You don't want to work with anybody where it's going to be like pulling teeth to get them to do things, right?
You don't want to do that.
No, you want everybody to flow. That's going to be very important. And that's why I say, in my opinion, that's probably going to be the hardest job right there. Finding somebody that we flow good, right?
Yeah.
That don't mean that you won't have disagreements. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the majority of the time, you do want your work relationship on that farm because you're going to be building.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to flow, right?
You can even have 5 acres,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have that thing flowing. Like,
That's true.
You don't have to have like a lot
A ton.
Yeah.
It could be 5 people. Each person want 1 acre.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you can do a lot. And to tell you the truth, if you have 5 people with 5 acres, each acre can be responsible for a specific
thing. Yeah.
On this acre, they could have their house and they could have the chicken barn. The other acre can have the garden. The other acre can have the dairy goats or the dairy cow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other acre can be for the fruit orchard. It's just
Yeah.
that you can do different things. You can come together and decide how you want your homestead to be, how you want it to look. Everybody just has to agree.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I think we can make it happen, y'all. I know the super subs. I know a lot of y'all are thinking about it, and
And we
y'all
do
gonna
get
make it
that.
happen.
We do get that question, and we get that email. Like, what do you suggest we do? We don't have a lot of money to buy land, especially with what it costs nowadays. And so coming together might be the best option. Coming together to make it happen, you all.
Yeah.
And so just consider it.
Yeah.
Even if it's something you have never considered,
Mm-hmm.
consider it. You know, it's just something to think about.
Yes, it
Okay?
is.
Well, I think that's it, Miss H.
That's it.
All right, y'all. We just wanted to come and share that topic with you all this evening. We hope you found it helpful. I don't think that there is anything that we've left out.
No, I think we covered it all. But
I hope if we didn't cover it all, y'all can put it down in the comment section below. Y'all can add in your thoughts and your suggestions as well, as long as they are geared towards being helpful to maybe motivate and help people to achieve their goals. Okay, so we're going to keep it motivational, and we're going to keep it positive and uplifting. All right.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, because we want people to succeed, but we want to give as much advice, and we can give that advice as a community from different perspectives. So, just to kind of give people a whole lot to consider and chew on, and then they can take their tablets and start taking notes on things to consider, so that when they do go and start talking to people about it, they can have some questions they may want to ask. They can have all this stuff written down,
Yeah.
and that'll help each person on their journey to becoming self-sustainable, which is what we want to do. Okay.
That's right.
All right, y'all. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and give our video a nice big thumbs
up, y'all.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that we upload to our channel. And thank you all again for watching Homestead Heart.
Peace and blessings, y'all.
To each and every one of you, we're going to see y'all in the next video.
Yes, y'all.
Yes, y'all.
Peace.
Deuces.